see around the corner on Full Lane, and John sent the person. A warning or violation that the tree was blocking, and we just talked to the guy, and we cut it up, and it turned out, and it doesn't look that bad, really. I don't think it looks that bad. I would think the guy.
Let me know if they like it.
Yeah, well, I think it looks good. They found a round of 8mm bullet, like a
Would be that.
yeah, like a whole.
They're not that good.
I don't know.
Well, maybe it's
Oh, there.
10 years.
Like
A clip or?
yeah, like a clip. 8mm bullet. 9mm.
9mm.
9. Okay.
Chief Shepard said if you'd kept looking, you may have found the gun.
The guy with the gun was looking for his bullet. So that turned out good. So usually sometimes those aren't so good, but that turned out good. So I appreciate the resident with that. And the mayor said a few things too, man. I wanted to let you know that not only did you get an answer to the question you asked me about the water breaks. Is the water department putting gravel? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, when there's a water break in the road, the water department digs it up, and then they used to try to fix it, or they would have to sub it out for someone to fix it. Well, a few years ago, they put that on the street department, which is fine, and we can patch it. So there's 3 or 4 places in the city where they've had to dig in the road to fix the water breaks.
Yeah. And let me back up, make sure that I'm on the same page with you. As far as putting the powdered lime in, you know, John Geller
Powder
said,
limestone that kind of packs like cement.
yeah, that now as far as the asphalt is
Right.
concerned,
Yeah.
I don't think the water department's going and getting a shipment of
No,
asphalt.
the street department does that for them.
Yeah.
We decided that a few years ago. So the schedule is to start those next week. Now I know there's one on 30th. There's one in front of Willow Ridge. There's one in front of River Oaks. And there's. Have you seen another one? No, I know there's like 3 or 4. I can't tell you where the other ones are.
Yeah, I can't either.
I see the one in River Oaks today. My tires are in it. So,
That one,
and 30th
that one on
Street.
30th
30th
is
Street.
near
Yeah.
where the entrance is to the parking lot of Kroger. And last week, as I called, I said, it was bad. And I said, somebody's got to come fix this thing. And that's, when it's just the powdered lime, it's water. When it's time to put the asphalt in and actually fix it permanently,
Right.
it's streets.
That's something where you use that Durapatcher just to seal that off. As a
Good.
temporary fix when you do those. Because they did that in Newark sometimes.
Put
It's
powdered
temporary.
lime up to about
Yeah.
maybe an inch or 2, and then put the Durapatch in the
Until
rest.
you can get, asphalt mix and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. It's kind of
One in
temporary.
River Oaks has a curb box in it, so I didn't want to. Sometimes you don't want curb. The guys might forget there's a curb box. This guy, just pay right over it.
Yeah, that's what the water department would say.
Wait a minute.
So they put preliminary
Just
powdered lime on there. And
Just
then the street
limestone's what it is. Yeah,
limestone.
like it
Yeah.
packs like concrete almost. You hope. It's not.
And then the street department will finish it off.
Yeah, and we're scheduled to start some of those next week. So to keep, or someone calls you and say, how come you haven't fixed? We have to wait until the plant's open. All the other stuff is happening 3 or 4 weeks earlier this year than it's happened in the last 10 years. And it all hits us at once. So I made the agenda a little shorter because I thought we were going to have a little more on the park side. So I don't have anything else.
I have a question. And we will adjourn the meeting at 5:52.
All right, and we will call Parks Rec and Davis Shea to order at 5:43. And the mayor has requested that we take item 1 off of the agenda. So
Yeah, and I apologize. Just that I was hoping to get things put together and lined up towards the end of last week, and sometimes events take control, and so I wasn't able to get all the ducks in a row on that. So we'll deal with that later.
Busy last week?
A little bit, yeah.
item 2 off.
Anything unusual?
All right, piping is fixed at the pool, and that's when we hired EnviroFlow, and that's the baby pool where I have told you that we had a leak in there, and we hired them, and they came in and they did find, now this wouldn't cause a problem, but they did find some debris in the piping, you know, like big rocks and things like that, that probably through the construction time, they might have a piece of pipe there and somebody moving dirt, big rock rolls in there. That didn't cause us, but there was some separation in the pipes, and what they do, they take this liner, they put it inside the piping, so it lines the whole thing, and then the water flows through there. So if the pipes are separated, it won't matter anymore. So we're pretty confident that's the fix. We'll find out when we open the pool, but that's one thing behind this, hopefully. That got finished last week, and we'll be looking. We're still losing a little bit of water in activity pool, so that could be our next project for next year to see if we have to do the same thing. But
It would
they
have
couldn't
to be in
ran.
the drain then, right? Either the feed to it or the drain
Yes,
from it, because
yeah.
we just lined it.
The problem was they sent a camera in there, but they couldn't get the camera through because there were things in the pipe, so that hurt. The camera work for it. And then they found it, and it took them a while to get that liner through there, to get some of those items out, like there might have been a Coke can there or something. So, you know how it goes. Anyway, we're hoping that's fixed and done, and yeah, we're pretty sure we hope that's the problem. So, and that's great it is. Right now we're getting close to clean the pool, which all the water's out of the pool now. We let the weather come in and wash out the pool as good as we can. Let Mother Nature do that, and then we go and pressure washer and start cleaning the pool out. So that's going to be our next project. We probably have to paint the lines in the Olympic pool. Those are the racing lanes. We'll have to paint those. We're looking at that right now.
Do like this, Bob.
Well, that's how I swim. So because after about 10, I'm tired. And Doug's Kruger's doing a little landscaping over there right now. It's going to be bigger and beautiful, more flowers along the lazy river. And so we're adding it. They're all perennials, so they'll keep coming up. So we're adding some things there. Just as we're talking about the pool, well, we'll just go down the board. I have some more things to say about that. The pool staff, I don't know if you officially hired everybody at Mayor, if you looked at, but we went through the applications. It's pretty much done. I think the Mayor has to give its final approval, and then we start calling people. We're not taking any more applications. The only way that you could get, if we were hiring more people, if we call someone and they can't take them, they don't want to work. Sometimes we get applications, we hire them, and then they say they can't work. So
We already have a stack of applicants who
yes,
we would have approval to draw from for those.
right. And the new pool staff, which will be Ann Clippinger as manager, and Rhonda White will be assistant manager. We're changing some things at the pool, and we are trying to meet once a week. It's not always good because Rhonda and Ann are both teachers, and all of our kids are involved in athletics, but we're trying to meet once a week, if not once every 2 weeks, and getting some items taken care of. Just getting the phone turned back on and getting our answering machine to work right. It's been an adventure, so we're getting closer to that. The phones are on.
Did the
It's ready
credit
to
card
go.
thing get a hold of you?
Who?
The credit card lady?
Yes.
Okay.
Credit card?
The machine or something?
No.
Oh.
Someone
I didn't
called
hear.
right before I walked in here, and I didn't answer it, and went to voicemail. So maybe that was it.
Okay.
But I didn't get any calls.
Is it a
during the day.
513 extension?
Yes.
Okay, that's it then.
Yep. That was just as I was walking in here. I'll let go of the voicemail. But yeah, we're doing a few changes. We're doing also the swim teams. We're trying to finalize those, making sure that we cover our expenses. Because believe it or not, when the swim team practices, you have to guard their practices. You would think a swim team, could swim, but you have to have guards there for their practices. And one swim team, they're older kids, so we don't have to have one, but the other swim team has a lot of younger kids, and they use 2 or 3 of our pools, so we have to have a few more. So we're making sure that we can cover our expenses on that. And the minimum wage went up, so we're hiking things up a little bit. They may not be real happy, but in my opinion, we have to cover our expenses and we have to bring in the money. So, but the pool we're going to have some changes that Phil and Jane are even helping us with some items that we weren't sure about, or some history or why we did certain things, and they have reasons. And Jane has been helping us with the swim team thing, just letting us know the background. So there's still useful information for us. And then Phil and Jane will be part of the staff as a part-time, kind of as needed if we need someone. And Phil, I think, is going to try to help us get the pool ready at the beginning with Craig, and that will be a big help. We would hire someone anyway to help Craig, but have Phil there would be a great thing. So we'll be there for like a month, and then he'll be gone unless we have some major problem that he'll come and help us fix. And Jane's available if we need her for anything. So that's good. We have a backup plan.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
At the end of the year last year, when we had the doggy paddle thing, we mentioned about needing to just make sure as we're opening up this year that there wasn't any residual effect. At what point in time do we expect to be able to let the folks from the animal shelter know if they're good to go for this year's event?
Well, what we've seen so far, that Craig hasn't seen anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That alarms him.
Yeah.
But when we turn the water, when we fill the pool in, and we turn the pumps on, and the pumps in the lazy river, or any water that maybe got fed back through our pumps, when we turn those pumps on, we'll know.
Okay.
And that will be mid-May,
Mid to
third
late
week of
May,
May,
right? Yeah.
somewhere in there, we'll know for sure. He hasn't seen anything,
Okay.
which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll know for sure when we turn something on. And if there's
Maybe,
no problem, then
Let's see, May 21st is your next meeting. Maybe,
it'll be, we might know by then. It'll be closed.
okay, we'll see.
It'll be closed.
All right.
Um,
Rudy's looking forward to it.
Rudy.
Your dog? Yeah, Rudy's our dog.
That's a Notre Dame kind of name.
No. We got him at Christmas time, so the girl's named him Rudolph.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's short for Rudolph. Yeah.
Does he have his license this year?
He will, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
we passed that ordinance with a big fine, didn't we? Have a dog license. Okay, on other items, I have a couple that came up at the last minute, and they're both legislative requests. The first one, on the capital improvement item, we still have a trailer to get. We received the mower that you see above it. The guys are saying, I think we need the trailer now, so they got some estimates today, and we really need to get this going. And the good news is that the estimate that we got was $3,500, and we have $5,000 in capital improvements. So I have a legislative request if anybody wants to see. It is the one that's on your left side, the bottom. This trailer here, and then this is the info about it if you want to see it. And that helps us haul the other mower. We can mow a couple, haul both at once. We can't do that on the mower now, and with the other trailer. And at times we kind of have leave one guy at Geller Park just specifically do everything at Geller Park. That's doing the ball fields, mowing, anything that happens. We leave one person. The other guy goes out and mows everywhere else. 3,500. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah.
Is it this one, Bob?
Bottom left.
Yeah.
Bottom left. Yes.
Is that a local dealer or what?
That's in Lancaster. Craig stopped on Thornwood Drive and he saw, he asked this guy, because this guy sells trailers on Thornwood, and the size that Craig wanted, the guy sold the day before, and this guy said, I don't have it, but you'll find it down in Lancaster and Bloom, it was Carroll, Ohio, I think is where it was. And so he went down there and got that estimate. Now our first trailer we bought was in Grove City, so that's where we bought the first one. So that will Yeah, for 3,500, 35, yeah. So, did I give it to you?
That's, 10,000 pound capacity, Bob, 10,000.
Yeah, that's has more capacity than the other one even, so that's good.
Right.
How heavy is the equipment that it's gonna haul?
Yeah, well, I mean, if Craig picked that one, I mean, that mower is probably 4,000 maybe something. That's 10,000 limit. It may not be, that mower may not be that. I don't know for sure. Unless I still have that. Okay,
That's probably about, that's pretty close.
Yeah. But Craig checked all that. It'll have enough capacity.
The mower that fine, but
Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah, it's probably about 4.
I mean, it sounds like you'll have enough capacity. What I'm thinking is we don't wanna go rabbit hunting with an elephant gun. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you back at you that if Craig picked this out, it'll be,
It's what we need.
it's what we need. Craig picked it out, it's what we need.
Alright.
he wasn't gonna go.
No,
He wasn't.
I told him how much, and then, I mean, really, I told him we had 5,000, he came back with 35, so he was happy with this, so.
Yeah.
What? Alright. Did you ask him?
Yes, I do. They're all good.
Alright, the last thing is, and we had this kind of started with an auditor's report that we get every year. And on the auditor's report, it kind of tells you things you should do, like keep inventory in your concession stand and some procedures you should follow. One of the items in here, the city should research and determine if it would be cost beneficial to purchase security cameras to review daily transactions which occur at the swimming pool. This may increase the level of control over cash collections and decrease likelihood of theft and misappropriation of funds. Out of the front gate, you know, at times we've tried to save money, and sometimes we've only had one person out there when it gets slower, but then we decided that we need to have 2 just so it's harder for someone, because you're dealing with, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but you know, you never know, and we're dealing with kids sometimes, and we don't have a staff that's with us year round, and sometimes we have a lot of different people from year to year. So, you know, we don't have time to interview every person that ever walks in here or run a background check on them or anything. And the people who usually work in the cashiers are people who just still probably doing good in school, and we have a feel about them somewhat. But the recommendation is through the auditors that it would help us in case there was something that we might be able to find something quick. One would be in the and you have to think that our pool. Pressing here, so that's good. The pool isn't, you know, we have a great outside facility, but our indoor facility was built in 1971. So we haven't been able to modernize our building the way you would build a building today, 40 years later. Which means our front gate is a portable, open cage that was there in 1971, and we've given it a few paint jobs, and that's it. So there's really no security there at all. Years past, for a lot of you on here, I asked for certain things, and it was just too expensive. Never did it. So we would have one in the office, because that's where they count the money at the end of the day. And then you would have one in the cage where you collect the money, because again, if you don't ring something up, you get to stick it in your pocket and nobody would know. So, and then we're also going to have a place where you buy your memberships, and it'll be outside the pool this year, that they're going to handle money. So when you go buy a membership, you're not going to go in the pool to buy it, you'll be buying it in another area outside the pool. And we need a security camera in there. Now I have an estimate. Now, when we got this estimate, we weren't sure of everything. The estimate that we got, and this is the same people who gave us cameras in the parks after our break-ins and does the impound lot. Johnny Geller just got an estimate for the water plant security. I don't know what he's going to do with that, but he just got an estimate from the same guy. This guy that does it is a former policeman, I think in our police department, right? Does a very, very good job. Very happy with it. In fact, in our park we have one camera, and well, we have cameras, and then we also have an alarm system. In the pool, I'm not sure the alarm system when the pool is open is a great thing right now, because you don't have the same person opening and closing every day, and you don't have two people. It could be multiple people, and for them to come in and turn off the alarm and set it every night, you could say you have to do that, but it doesn't always happen.
And also, a lot of people wouldn't know the code,
Right.
which kind of defeats
Yeah.
the purpose of the code.
And I'm thinking if we're going to do it, maybe because we had two break-ins. We never had a break-in at the pool before. We had two last year, or the two
At the pool.
2 in 2 years. Yeah, yeah. They stole some things out of there like 2 weeks after we closed. We had got some things out here, and so we're thinking if we did an alarm system, we could do it and put in there when the pool's closed. Help us that way, because we don't check it as much. You know, that part. We're good in the filler buildings, but not in the pool center. And I didn't think the price was that bad. The $33,225, and that's for three cameras, and it of course we're bringing it to the police station.
How much was it?
$3,225, but my legislative request is asking for only because there's some unknowns with it, that we changed a few things because of this membership outside, so we want to make sure we're covered. I don't want to have to come back and ask for more money, but I can guarantee if it stays at this price, that's what we'll spend.
Are those, you said something about come back to police department, those are web-based cameras?
There will be something in the police department, same as the impound lot, that, well, the impound lot, there's a monitor, and if there's movement, it'll kick on.
That's the same thing you want to set up over here.
That's the internet. IP.
Or we could set it up there.
IP cameras.
There's two,
IPC. Internet.
yeah,
And then they're motion.
Is there something in here that alerts the dispatcher that somebody's,
well, this is
Damaging
more,
or
now,
obscure.
I don't want you to get the wrong idea. This thing is probably more, this isn't like the alarm thing. This is more of just watching you. So if we have a
You'll have
day,
it on
because there's going to be
tape.
motion all the time, so that's not it. Like, it may not go back there. We'll have a monitor in the office. And what we would do if we suspect something, we would have that tape for that day that we could view on our monitor. It's not so much there's motion and it goes to police, that's not how it works. It's more of just our own security.
you're not gonna set those up so in your off season
That they won't be able, we will probably take them out of there.
put Bella in.
That'd be all right.
Bob, do you have an employees meeting?
Oh, yeah.
You might mention in there, A, you're gonna have a camera, and B, you get caught stealing, this is what we're gonna do. Right? Because that's a good point.
Right. We have preliminary meetings with the staff. I'm saying we as Ann and Rhonda will have those meetings, but we have a big meeting where everybody comes and I am there and the mayor is there. And that's even it's a point that we can make at that time. It's a point we can make at that time.
I mean,
And I've said that in the
you need to
past.
inform them,
Right.
you have cameras, A, and B, what you're gonna do about it.
Right.
If they steal, hopefully you're gonna prosecute.
It'll be to the letter of the law.
And it also can protect them, because let's say they're working the gate
Right.
and they're putting everything in the drawer, but then something happens to it later and someone says, well, the money's short, and you can show the cameras that
Right.
obviously they didn't, it was there when
Right.
I got it, because,
I think it kind of protects everybody. Like
Yeah.
I said, it protects the employee. It kind of gives us an idea. I think Keith has been, he's been kind of advocate for this. And then the auditors, without us, saying, now we have new auditors, and they have, every time you get new auditors, they have their own things they want to do. And they've added this to our report that I get.
To paint the significance of this, there are days where it's not uncommon to have $10,000 of cash go through there. That's significant. And I have been uncomfortable about this a long time.
When you have days like that, you can make multiple deposits.
Sometimes we have 2 a day.
Bring them back here.
Yeah, there's a safe in the police department. The protocol has been that 2 managers bring the money and put the money in the safe and lock it up in the police department. I figure that's a pretty safe place. And then I have the combination of that, and then I'll come over in the morning, and the following morning. They'll put the receipts in at the end of the day. I'm not aware that they do 2 deposits ever, but maybe they do. They will do it there and put it in the safe at the pool. So
Yeah, that's why I'm glad the president here, because you know, when we first opened,
I'll see it.
when we first opened, you know, all of a sudden we had all these people, and our safe only holds so much. So we had, in fact, we had so much money, the police came up and gave us like a police escort back. So much money, you know. And then it got to be where we weren't used to that kind of money, and they were coming up, and we were making a deposit during the day. Now maybe it's leveled off, but we don't do that as much now. But at one time we did.
Brian?
Yeah, you know, raising that some of these people are getting nowadays, you might as well just put a sign up there that they're being video recorded, because, you know, somebody really, like you said, you left messages, if someone gets wind of that, people
Well,
are.
and the other thing too is it's a deterrent for anybody who would want to rob
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we have that on our door at the parks, you know, it says
Right.
you're under surveillance, telltale, whatever it is, and we have that on our door.
Well, you have to notify the thief that they're being recorded.
That's right, it's true.
Bob?
It's
Jeff has a good idea, and I'm not sure necessarily how we can figure out how to work it out, as far as where the money's coming from to pay. But, you know, you're looking at this, I know John Geller's looking at this at the water plant. I don't know if he's looking at it at the wastewater plant, and maybe, you know, different setup at the wastewater plant, he may not need this. You know, the street department building sits out back there in the shadows all by itself. You know, we might, through a volume discount, be able to get these things taken care of together, and it might overall cost us less money. We could look at, you know, 2 or 3 different providers bidding for the job of hooking these different locations up. And it might be a way for us to save money overall and achieve better security.
When we did the park, I had 2 vendors come in, and the one vendor was probably 2,000 or more higher than this guy.
About Chuck Muller.
Chuck Muller. We can get estimates, but yeah, I mean, I wanted to have this in by June 2nd. So that's, I mean, if we can do that in time. I mean, Johnny's got one estimate.
Write it up.
Haven't got, huh?
I said it shouldn't take you long to walk in, write it up.
Do you know, did John also
I think
work with this
I
guy?
think it's the same guy,
Do you know?
because I think
What?
Did John also work with this?
Yeah.
Did he?
Muller, yeah.
the only place that you don't have would be the street department. We could get him over there. If we get estimates, you want to combine it, then maybe we could still do a legislative request before the next meeting to get it going. If we can get those requests within the next 2 weeks, if you want to do it all, is that sound all right?
Might be able to get a better price out.
Better price, get competitive bidding.
Well, yeah, we'll see. That's fine.
Can we do a legislative request, and then if the price comes in lower, I mean, you wanted to do it for 4,000 anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We go ahead and do it, so we've got 4,000 allocated, and if we have to
Out of the
allocate
pool fund
a couple
for
more
this.
thousand out of the streets.
Well, it's on capital.
Oh, it's out of capital.
Capital.
Yeah, we can do
We
it
could
that
do
way.
that way, couldn't you?
And then if we get a reduction, then I'll show you what that is, and you know, like I said, if this price stayed at 32, 35, whatever it is, I'll never spend the 4,000. I'll spend whatever he gives me. So if he said, okay, I'll cut that back 20%, and if it's, let's say it's 2,800, then
And that's just all
then
the
I'll-
less that you'd be spending out of that.
yeah, and you don't have to change the legislative request at all.
I'm fine with that.
But I can call him tomorrow and get him a
That
street
makes sense.
department. Is that what you want?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, let's,
And then combine Johnny's and that and mine together and see if he gives us a deal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Any other questions?
On a different topic.
Okay, well, let's finish.
I gotta write this down what I'm supposed to do first.
Okay, Brian.
I'm good, thank you, yes.
Okay, all right. Ready?
Yes.
I got it.
All right, what was your additional item?
The two poll things on tonight on ordinances on the first reading, are you going with those waived so you can get one on them, or? Bob? For the lift and for the talking,
caulking.
you want?
Yes,
waive?
that would be good. Yes.
That way we're gonna have to wait, actually.
Waive it. Waive it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the caucus, but I just wanted to check it out before you.
Anything else
Sorry.
for Parks Rec and Davis Shea?
These guys sometimes don't let me know.
All right, we will adjourn at 6:10.
Finance or?
After council, yeah, because I'll make the
You ready?
Oh, okay.
Anything for you.
Sure, why not?
Now? No.
Hey, you can go to baseball game.
I know. That's why I'll come back in a good mood. I'm not going to the varsity game, but I know I'm gonna come back. in a good mood. No.
Easy.
All right, everybody got a copy?
Yeah.
We have a total of four different legislative requests. First one, $6,000 from within law enforcement trust fund to law enforcement materials and supplies for ammunition. Comments? Who sponsors this? Brian?
Yeah,
I didn't know about this
I don't have any
stuff.
questions.
I didn't know.
Other than I was,
Comments more than questions.
I got a question. I mean, I don't know, it just seems like an awful lot of money for ammunition if we never shoot the gun.
I got those M3s or whatever.
I know, because I know fine, but it just, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, Barney had that bullet in his pocket.
This is a big area, we don't have money, right?
It just seems like an awful lot of money spent to just.
Right.
Ammunition in general costs an awful lot of money.
I know, but then to never use it, you know what I mean? It's like,
but they are using it, that's what he said, they're
Yeah.
going to training.
well, I know, but what I'm saying is, they're gonna go to training, they're gonna use the ammunition in training, and then we hope they never have to use it. It's like buying insurance, you know, you buy house insurance, hope you never have to use it. It's just $6,000 so they know how to use the gun, but you hope they never have to use the gun. You know what I'm saying?
You spend
Okay, we do have a bargain.
$6,000 to buy the ammunition that they know how the hell to use it. All the time, every time. That way I think we can do something.
I figure you just point and squeeze, you know,
Is this
you know,
for
you
the?
squeeze enough, you're gonna get close.
The air I heard is all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying.
And Barney always
You don't
put his
have
down
to
to.
use the daggone thing. What good is that one?
I understand.
I don't know.
I do have
Hope
something
they're
on
fine.
that.
Okay, deal, Sean, you would think.
Brian, what,
Government.
Brian, you got the floor, go ahead.
Thank you, this is directed to Keith probably too, I just doesn't make sense that it's coming out of the law enforcement trust fund though, I mean, does it really qualify for that fund?
Chief said it did. I would.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for the law enforcement trust fund, but I would believe that ammunition would certainly fit.
Remember, he said it, he found out that it was, money from that fund was more available for more things than we had thought. Because at one time, it was just I don't know what, I mean, that he may have made.
Anytime it's not coming out of the general fund, it makes the mayor and I happy.
So
Yeah,
ra-
if it was come out of
rating-
general fund, I wouldn't support $6,000, to be honest with you.
Might not be easy.
Rating the law
I'd say heck
enforcement
with it.
trust fund is,
Learn some other way.
I'd say, do it.
how much do we have in
What
this
is it?
fund? Can-
I have no clue what he means.
Yeah.
Anybody have their
35
fund report?
I got it right here.
Is that 35?
Is that in here? Which one is it? 55,000.
55. I knew there was a bond.
43. Unencumbered 43. Fund 230? 230 grand.
Yeah, 43 left.
Brian, maybe at next meeting you could have the chief elaborate a little more on what actually qualifies to raise the law enforcement trust fund, since we're kind of up in the air. It's got 43,000.
Right. No, look,
But I really don't know.
what, my understanding in the past that it could be used for, anything other than your day-to-day type operations and labor costs and stuff like that, so I didn't know if training fell into that category, that's why I asked Keith, I mean, yes. Okay, I'll ask him that.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of, we need to connect the dots on this. There's $43,000.
I remember
in
that
here.
being mentioned too, when you just said it.
We've all got a pretty good idea what comes out of the general fund, but this is kind of a fuzzy account here. I don't,
It's,
Well, didn't
Well,
he say?
it's
it's
not a
that
it's
it
fund
not
was
coming
account.
out of the general fund, so it's money
He
that they
commented
collect
that it
by.
had
would you
done
like
that
to
way
know
for
what
years.
qualifies
Yeah.
to come out?
Well, sure,
I mean,
yeah,
I
but I'm just
think
saying,
so.
you know where the money comes from.
agree.
Okay, anything that they get for illicit, drug transactions.
I understand the deposits, I just don't understand the withdrawal eligibilities, that's all. This is, Other comments? Mr. Henry, you okay? Committee? All right, that's one. Whew. Item two, $3,500 for that tandem trailer. Comments? We're okay with that?
I don't see it under the $5,000 line. That's-
Trailer. All right. Third item. Rerun, appropriate amount not to exceed $4,000 within the capital improvement fund to purchase a video security system for the water park. Which we've elaborated will be functional for other departments and under the same request.
How much was it?
Not to exceed $4,000 capital improvements, but that's specific, this legislative request is specific for the water park, and I think we've included that
Included the street department.
to include
that's
the
what's-
street department and possibly the water and wastewater
Oh, that's
departments as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a better price, I'm looking for competitive bidding, I'm looking to save some money on a per camera cost from a vendor or vendors that are willing to get involved. Sounds like this guy does a good job, but it's good business if we ask for competitive bids.
I think what Bob was trying to allude to is the fact that we just went through this exercise in the Parks building, and this guy did have the most competitive bid
We
on
had two
that.
bids and one camera. Now we're looking at
And the security
a
system, I
little
think they have
different
in the
situation.
or at the Parks building now too.
Any other comments on that? Are we okay with that, committee? All right. Moving on to other items, of which one is a legislative request. Keith, you
Let
want
me,
to take it from here?
let me do item 2 on other items first. You guys were aware that the State Route 79 bonds were roughly 9.5 years old, and we're able to refinance those, recall those bonds, and we did so. But in the course of looking into this, since we were already paying bond counsel and already paying Moody's for a bond rating, I asked the question, silly that it didn't cross my mind before, about taking this Franklin Avenue water line project and combining them. and it costs like $9,500 for the bond rating, and I forget what bond counsel charges, but it isn't cheap. So it wasn't any more for either of those things to combine the two. So I did so, and the portion of the Franklin Avenue project that we were actually going to do conventional loan, we ended up getting a 10-year loan of 2.49% on that portion. So we've got an interest-free, roughly $250,000, was more than that, but some odd amount, and then $250,000 grant, and then this regular financing for 10 years. And I picked 10 years because I knew the interest rate would be lower than 20. And if we can get it paid off in 10 years, that just is proved. I'm real pleased that 2.49% on the State Route 79 bond refi ended up being between 6 and 7% savings for the remainder of the term.
So what's that total savings? You figured that out?
About $80,000.
What's the repayment?
Council raises?
What's the what?
Is there a repayment plan on this, or it just comes due?
No, it's a repayment. This is an installation, annual installments. In fact, there's two payments. I
Straight
think.
line, 1/10 plus interest?
Yeah, it's not.
Declining balance, how is it working here? Amortization.
I'd be glad to show you the amortization schedule.
I'm the only one in the room.
The payments are not identical every year, but
That would be going down.
Well, that's what I'm asking, is it a straight line payment?
Remember when we did the one at the pool, they could kind of bounce a
Pool
little
goes like
bit.
that.
Yeah.
Pool does that.
it's not straight line, but it is fairly equal 10 installments. Actually 20, 2 per year. There's a principal payment and an interest payment. And they don't all add up to exactly the same numbers. I don't understand why that is, but they gave me the schedule, it's acceptable.
So the one payment is 1/10 of the principal balance.
In general, but not exact 1/10.
No, what?
When it's all said and done, it adds up.
You know, I thought this was gonna be a nice logical question, I guess we're gonna get.
When we did the refinancing on the pool debt, it was the same thing. The payment that we would have to make each year going forward was not the same.
Right.
Okay,
It's like different years have different interest rates almost, Jeff. Seriously.
but we have a fixed
That's
rate.
exactly right.
Right, but that's the fixed rate for
This
10,
is
that's what it equals out for 10-year period.
This is what it adds,
Yeah.
what it figures out to be over the term.
Yeah.
This is what it figures out over the term. But there are years that I think it's 2, and then I think the last 2 years or 3 years are 3.5 and one's 4, or
It's that old floating fixed rate.
well,
Right? Yeah.
basically what happens is to make these bonds attractive, they give some, they give some higher interest rates at the end of the thing,
To let you hang on to.
I guess.
Right.
I don't all I cared about was the end result. The details of this are more
Yeah,
interesting to you.
From a budgeting perspective, so it's not a huge variance.
No.
I'll show you the schedule and you can apply.
A little more complicated than what you might.
I'm trying to remember on the pool, and it may have been from year to year, it may have been 10 grand each time. You know, whether it was going up or going down. I want to say it was within 10 grand on each.
As your principal balance, in theory, declines, your total payment should.
That wasn't the
But
case
that's
on
not
the
the
pool.
case. Okay.
That's
why the Wall Street boys make the big bucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why we're in the shape we're in right now.
Yeah, there you go.
I've done such a marvelous job the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
I'll be sure to get you the 10 pages of
Yeah,
this deal.
I'm looking
I tried to consolidate this in two or three sentences. And,
You did a good job. Need a cure for insomnia. Bring it on.
all right. And item one, but part of this, I don't need an executive session. You know, I think it was last, 2 weeks ago. I indicated that our passport sales were up 79% for the year, and that collections were close to $4,000. I'm sure they've gone well past $4,000 for the year. The Newark Title Agency quit doing passports, and they did so because there was you're not allowed to process passports in the same building where you can get an ID, and of course you can go get a state ID right across the hall. Is there what?
The rule against convenience, or why?
Yeah, it's too convenient for government, you can't do it.
I think in general, let's say that you were somebody that wanted to go get a state ID card and get it in a fictitious name somehow. I don't know what the protocol is to prove who you are to get a state ID card, but let's say you wanted to get a state ID card and then you just simply decided to go get a passport that's fraudulent somehow. They want to make it inconvenient for you to do that. But the bottom line is this is a very inexpensive initiative. It's just, and the more you do, the better, because the only expenses we have are mailing them, and we can mail 10 for the same price that we mail one. And so when the more I can get in the envelope, the better. And every one we do, we get $25 for. I know we did 4 of them today. Unless they did one in the last half hour, there could be more in there that I'm unaware of.
Are they 100?
Passports are $110, and the city of Heath and anybody that processes them charges $25 processing fee.
110 plus 25.
Yeah.
How much time do we have involved with?
How much what?
How much time do we have involved with? For
10 before you renew, or what?
The
How much personnel time do you have? All of it.
I would say
Depends on the
typically 15 minutes, but we have some passport applicants that take an hour. Honestly, that would be rare.
The meeting is 20-25 minutes.
I would say typically 10 minutes.
10 minutes is.
I
20
process.
minutes even would be rare, I think.
Yeah, I think the couple I did today, I think they were in and out of there. I did 2, and it couldn't have been more than 10 minutes.
If they come with their form pre-filled out, that helps.
Everybody's different. Some people need their hand held a lot, and some people have their ducks in a row when they show up. But we were very quick to ascertain if they got their ducks in a row. If they don't, a lot of times we're sending them. Some people show up with nothing, no photos, no checkbook, no anything. But we don't spend much time with them to ascertain that. We send them away until they get all their ducks in a row, and then they come back. But I want to advertise some. And I've checked with the radio stations to buy some, I guess, some time. And they got some special pricing for government. And I want you to appropriate $1,500 to hear my voice on the radio talking about this a little bit.
Keith, I got a question for you. So if you get $25, that means you got to sell 60 of these at 25.
That's exactly right. I
break
just
even.
wrote down that number. 60.
Okay, all right. So if you got to sell 60, just break even. Okay. Is there any way that we can track, if you do the advertising, that the reason the people came in here was because they heard it on the advertising? I mean, I know if you do like a coupon in the paper or whatever, they bring the coupon in, you can track, you know, the coupons and stuff. But when you do radio, it's hard to track what brought them in, stuff like that. Unless you kind of ask them, like each time you do it, it says, you know, how did you hear about us, or how did you know to come to Heath to hear to City Hall to do it? And if they say, oh, I heard it on the radio, then you could kind of, you know, don't say, hey, did you hear it on the radio? So they answer that way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we do this,
A lot
I'd
of
be
people
curious to see.
volunteer the signs.
Right.
They
Yeah.
acknowledge
Yeah.
they see the signs. I'm in and out,
Yeah.
in and out of here so often
Yeah.
that I go by months without ever noticing those signs.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, you know, I'm not looking for the signs.
Right.
But other people have stopped here because they've seen those signs.
Right. Well, I'm just saying if we spend $1,500, it'd be nice to know that if you track it, that you could come back in 3 months or 6 months from now and say, you know, we've had 100 people or whatever said that they reasoned because of her, so that we know, well, it sounds like it's a good thing to do next year. You know what I'm saying? Or otherwise, if you say, you know, we had 100 people come in passports and only one person said that the reason they came was because they heard it on the radio. All the rest came, they just heard it through word of mouth or they saw the sign or something like that. Then it's like, is it really worth doing next year? You know, I mean.
Honestly, the word of mouth, I think, has become something that is, I don't think we can buy advertising that would benefit us
Right.
as much as word of mouth is, because we have a perfect facility for this.
Right.
We come in and we sit here, or we go to the conference room, or we sit at that little table in the general admin office, and it's just so much more inviting than the postal services. Deborah called the post office and talked to them, and I think we're doing more than they are.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get all of theirs if I can figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to. I actually talked to these guys at the radio station. They want to like
Really boom with them.
boom, like have me do 40 a day on both their radio stations for a week. And I said, no.
Yeah.
And I actually told them that what I'd like to do and is I'd like to be on the air 20 times a day for for the first week of 1 month, the second week of a second month, a third week of a third month, and a fourth week of a fourth month. So that over 4 months, it's going to hit at different times in the month, and it will be, 21 times for each radio station. In a 24-hour period. Well, that's not very many hits.
Yeah.
And you're going to catch different listeners
At different times.
The good news is you're going to have some of those that will hit absolute prime time.
Yeah.
And absolute prime time for radio is from 7 to 9 in the morning. It's the people traveling with the radio on. And I think they said 4 to 6 in the evening.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd like to take a stab at that, and then the rest of this, I need to chat with you in executive session about.
Well, yeah, I just back to that. I was just saying, if you could track it somehow, try to track how the advertising.
Any way of being able to track the effectiveness
Because,
of advertising
yeah,
is beneficial.
yeah. Because I knew when I was in the greenhouse business stuff, I never I did a lot of ads in the paper and stuff, and a lot of times you had to bring the ad in so you could track them. When I did radio ads, the only reason I knew a lot of times radio ads is because people were coming that never been there before. It's like I never knew this place existed, but I heard it on the radio. So it was like, but in this case, in his case, it's a passport. It's the only time they're ever going to come. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like
I'll
you're
never see those
people get, you're going to see them now and 10 years from now, and stuff. So it's a one-shot deal. So when they come in, Keith have no way right now knowing, did you see the sign? Did someone tell you? Did a friend, a relative? But if they just kind of make that like just a general inquiry, how'd you hear about it?
I wish there was a question on the application.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
But if you just get
how did you hear about us? How did you hear about us?
But as you do, we did 3 today or whatever, and just kind of those 3,
Right.
Deb comes in and you say, how'd you hear about us, Deb? She said, oh, I saw the sign, or my
neighbor,
relative, my aunt told me about it, or whatever, and just kind of track that a little bit. Just be interesting to see. I mean, the next 100 or 200 or 300, yeah, how we get it, because maybe you find out we need to advertise in a different place or a different way to get more people.
We keep a ledger book of the ones that we and that would be the place to market it.
Yeah, just
right. If somebody came because they saw the sign, just jot that. There's room there to do it. It's something it's a good idea. Something we've never done.
Yeah.
In passing, I know that a lot of people. I would say that we get most of the people here as a referral from they just somebody said I got mine at Heath and that's the place to go.
Yeah.
And we try to make it that. And
well, you're gonna have traveling season coming up where people are gonna need passports if they go on cruises or other places. So now's the perfect time. People need to get passports. So it'd be great to get them.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm not asking this question to defer what you're wanting to do there. The radio idea sounds like a good idea, at least give it a stab once, but have we also included the information on the water bill in that section to let people know we do that? I'm assuming most people in city limits probably realize that right now. I've noticed
before.
we
We can do that at any time.
we've done that a couple.
Yeah, I mean, radio's gonna reach a lot further than our local water bill. I'm just curious if we put it in there, if we plan to do it once in a while. So,
Yeah.
okay.
I've come to believe that if you print something on the water bill, the chances of anybody reading that are slim and none.
Well, you need to put it
Now, if
right
you
next
put
to
an
the total
insert,
due.
put an insert in there, that's
Right.
different.
That's different.
But if you, no,
I don't think a lot of people read that.
Put it right next to the total due. That's the only thing I like.
I hear you.
He's right.
I'm just curious, that's curious.
And insert the act.
Any other comments? Committee is up on this, okay? Need a motion for executive session? Discuss personnel, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Good seeing you.
Get your camera.